Uh, we're looking forward to Rice coming in here. They've got a physical team, a lot of starters coming back. They're going to try to run the ball, and I call it bully ball. I think they'll probably try to bully us a little bit with their offensive line. They have a lot of experience there. Defensively, they play multiple fronts. They fly to the football, and really good on special teams. So I thought they got better as the year went on last year, and they were very competitive in almost every game that they played. So we're looking forward to the crowd being out there and supporting us, and looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, Coach, just in general, how do you feel about the team heading into the first game week?
I still think we're a little beat up right now. I think we're going to be fine on Saturday. There's more green out there in jerseys than what we wish we had. Certainly we haven't had any injuries that were season-ending injuries, things of that nature, but we're still a little beat up, a little bit more than I'd like to be on a Monday. So, but also you have to practice. So we'll be smart with those guys, but anticipating that we get most all of them back for the game. I feel good about the team and where they're at spirit-wise and where they are mentally.
On that note, John Ridgway put something out about him. He was in a hospital bed.
Yeah, we got to work on that a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to play this week or not. Probably doesn't look good for that to happen, but he's doing fine. But I don't look for him to be ready this week.
Ladarius Bishop looks like your top corner opposite Busta and a kick return guy. What kind of camp did he have, and how did he grab a hold of those two spots?
Well, we felt like he played really well last year against Alabama. And he is fast. He's long. He's a perfect size, speed for a corner. And I don't know how he beat him out. He just played well. And what we did, really, to be honest with you, we quit moving him to left corner, right corner. We kept we moved him all the time, trying to find that place for him. And we kept him at one spot over there on the right side and seemed to help him.
Coach, offensively, you guys were made strides from 19 last year, but where do you think the offense can go this year? Can you be more dynamic?
I hope so. I think obviously anytime you start a new quarterback, it's his team. It's a different team than what it was with Felipe. KJ obviously has different assets than what Felipe did, as well as Felipe having different assets than what KJ does. But I think if we're looking for in the future a quarterback that runs this offense, this type of offense, a guy like KJ, a guy like Malik is what we're looking for. So offensively, have a lot of guys coming back. A lot of guys played a lot of ball, and the bottom line is we'll see how that translates to how we play. But I feel very confident that we've got the guys in there that can make plays.
When you're running a high tempo offense against a ball control team, does it affect you at all if suddenly, first half they're controlling the ball? I mean, do you have to change your strategy a little bit?
I think it can. I mean, it's a great question. When I was at Georgia, we played Georgia Tech every year, and I can remember one year we were up 17-0 at half, or 17-7. I can't remember, but we had 3 possessions. 2 we went down and scored, and then we had a hurry up offense and kicked a field goal right before half, and that was it. Basically 2.5 possessions. And we've talked to our team about that. We know what type of pace they play with. Obviously, it's up to our defense to get them off the field. However, we don't want to panic with that. We don't want to do something that we aren't. We want to go run our offense, but our offense knows that we need to have success, and success early obviously we'd like to get the lead and take them out of that pace a little bit more. Georgia Tech was a team that was just what they did. I think that Rice can adjust their speed. They obviously have a good third down package as well on offense. So I think they can adjust the tempo if they want to, but I anticipate them taking much time off the clock as they can.
Mike Bloomgren's mentioned being an old line coach like you are, and you guys used to go at it on the recruiting trail for a lot of the same guys. I wonder how well you know him, and kind of what do you think about a couple of old offensive line coaches being head coaches in America?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, both as a offensive line coach and a head coach. He's done a really nice job at Rice. They're coming, I believe. But I don't remember ever really meeting him. I may have met him, but I don't remember having a lengthy conversation with him. But I have a lot of respect for what he's done there at Rice and of course, his career as an offensive line coach.
Sam, if Ridgeway isn't able to play this weekend, do you feel confident about your depth along the offensive line that, even losing one guy, you'll still be able to do the multiple type looks that you're looking for this year?
I do. Certainly we have, Isaiah Nichols and Torian Carter. I think they'll be fine, if he's not able to play. And Eric Gregory could also move into that spot if we needed him to. But I think right now it would be Isaiah and Torian. And, Torian started in spring ball, so I have really good confidence that we can do whatever Barry's game plan is there. I don't think we're going to end up not doing anything that we had planned for this game because Ridgeway may not be able to go.
Watch any football this weekend, week 0?
I did. I watched a couple of games.
There's always so much of the game is about not making mistakes, making your opponent pay for theirs. And there's some, I don't know if you watched the Illinois game, but fielding the punt at the 2-yard line, that hit on the quarterback and also the taunting penalty, it was probably game-changing moment. Do you use any of that stuff, the week 0 games and stuff, to show your team like, hey, see what these guys did and stuff like that? Or do you stress any of that on them?
You ought to go into coaching, Trey. The first thing we're going to do today in our team meeting is show all the mistakes that were made this weekend. Certainly, I'm sure that Nebraska and whomever, they felt like they were ready as well, and it just happened to them. But the more we can show them, the better off I think we'll be. And that's part of my team meeting today.
Hey, Sam, I think Arkansas was an underdog in every game last year, and I know you guys don't worry about it.
I know we were, yes.
And team really played with a chip on their shoulder, and obviously maybe it didn't surprise yourselves, but surprised a lot of other folks. But in this game, Arkansas is like a 19-point favorite. And I know you guys don't worry about what Vegas does, but how do you think this team will react to being a big favorite when they're so used to being an underdog?
I know it's coach speak and all that, and we all say it, but we really are. We're just worried about how we play. If we'll play physical and chase the ball and not make mistakes and are tough and play with the chip, we feel like we'll play well. It's really not as much about the opponent for the players. Certainly you get ready because you see tendencies and who you're lined up against and all those things. But we pretty much keep it about Arkansas. And if we need to play our best, whatever that is, and then let the scorer figure out the score. But we've kind of gone that way. We pretty much approach every game that same way. Certainly the kids have different rivalries in their mind and things like that. But I'm hoping, and I don't think that we'll have any type of different the way we play, whether we're a favorite or whether we're not. But it is different because we're expected to win this game, and we weren't, at least Vegas wise, expected to win any of them last year. So it is a valid point, and we're very aware of that.
When you came to the Lou Holtz camps here, Rice was on the schedule every year. So the historic aspect of this and the old timers, they're probably going to dig these first 2 weeks. What do you think about that?
I love it. I love it for them, that they're able to, reminisce about the old days. And I don't think I came to that Rice game, if I remember correctly. I always watched them play Tulsa, back then. But anyway, I think it'll be really fun. And it's, bringing back, hopefully there'll be some older folks that remember that conference rival that come back and enjoy and have a heck of a day.
What was it like with KJ and Jalen when they were voted captains by their teammates on Saturday? I mean, I know 3 others, but they were seniors. But the sophomores, you don't always have a sophomore named the captain. What did it mean to those 2 kids? And stuff?
Yeah, I think it meant a lot to all of them. I really do. And of course, Myron certainly was a captain late last year. And of course, I think we all felt like Grant Morgan might get voted in as a captain. All we did, our coaches don't have a vote on it. And, I thought, a lot of times you have captain voting before the season, and at Georgia, it was after the season, and I get reasoning behind both of them. Obviously you vote a captain and maybe let's say he gets beat out and he doesn't get to play and all that, but you can still lead. And so I was very confident that our kids would pick the right guys. And basically we had a tie. And we normally would do 4. We had a tie. So we named 5 this year. But I think the one that was probably the most excited, I think they all were excited. KJ doesn't really show his. Jalen really doesn't show his. They get up there and they all had an opportunity to talk to the team whenever we announced them. The one that was the most excited was Joe Fouché. And I said Joe's really special. They're all special, but Joe's got a story. And I was so happy that the team voted him as a captain.
Not only does the crowd get to return to full capacity this year, but you can also have recruits on campus again. I don't know how many you'll have for this weekend, but how big is that, just being able to have recruits back on campus for official and unofficial visits?
Well, coaches have to go to work again. It's going to be great, but, before the game last year, you just sat around, waiting on games, go out there, talk to the players. Now you have to go to work again. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Any good coach loves recruiting, and so it'll be fun to see the families and see how excited they are to get on campus to watch the Razorbacks. And so we're looking forward to it.
Rice has 2 quarterbacks that, will play or could play.
Yeah.
Is there a contrasting style within defense?
Yeah, there is. Both of them can throw the ball, but obviously McCaffrey, we cut up every run that he had from Nebraska. We cut up every pass that he threw from Nebraska, and it's impressive. The guy he's a really good player. You got to watch him when he runs a draw, things of that nature. Obviously, he played some tailback for him as well. So, the guy's a good player, can run over you fast enough to run around you. And then the other kid, Constantine, he's a passer, not quite as mobile, but, obviously they went with him a year ago. So, I think both of them, I think there's 2 different styles, I guess, to answer your question.
You guys cross-trained at D-line and in the defensive backfield. I'm just wondering how that suits your team, having the multiplicity there.
Well, to me, and I know there's a difference between nose and 3 technique, I know, but a lot of teams, if they're in an over front, they play left and right tackles basically, and then they shift them from, if the tight ends and they're over front, if the tight ends to the left, well, then, our right D tackle will shift to a 3. The other guy goes to nose, and if he's on the right, the guy will play a 3. The other guy goes to nose. So I don't think that's as big a deal. If you were a head up 0, it might be, if we play a whole lot of odd, which we'll play some, obviously. it might be a bigger deal, but I think you just have 2D tackles, and that's why I said what I said about Eric Gregory, because we moved him inside.
You got 14 seniors on this depth chart that you guys released. I know you still got some work to do on it, but that's a lot of senior. Have you ever been a part of a team that has that much returning from previous years in terms of experience? Not just that, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of returning starters.
I mean, I don't recall, I don't know, because, my room was always just 5, but I don't recall that being the case. Even when we went to the national championship game at Georgia, I don't think we had maybe one senior up there that was starting for us at that point. So I don't think we've had that year. We were pretty deep at seniors as well, though, with Nick and Sony and those guys. But Jake was a freshman, so I can't remember ever having a team loaded up with seniors like what we do. Rice returns a lot of seniors as well, but and you're going to get a few more seniors because of the super senior situation. But man, did we need them to come back too and give us our younger guys another year to develop. But I don't recall that, Trey, that where we had that many guys.
I don't know if we heard much at all in camp about Isaiah Nichols, but it seems like he's right there with Ridgeway on the depth chart anyway, possibly starting. What's he bring to the field, for your line and maybe, leadership?
He's a great leader. I want to go back. I won't forget what you asked me, but I told the kids there's probably 25, 30 kids that could have been voted captain on our team. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, we've got a lot of mature guys and things. So I told those guys that way, and that's what I believe. With Nichols, he brings a lot of leadership. He's an older guy, brings a lot of passion, or a guy who's played, let's say that, brings a lot of passion, wants to win. I think Torian Carter's better because of Isaiah Nichols. I think Nichols and Carter are both better because of Ridgeway. But he brings a lot to us, and there's no doubt in my mind he's going to play well.
Same, I guess, Latham and Jones, that's been a really tight competition all camp at left guard. I guess at least right now you got Latham start. What was the difference there, and how do you think that played out?
Well, not a whole lot of difference, to be honest with you. Brady at this point is probably a little more consistent than what Luke has been, but there's not a whole lot of difference there. The depth chart that you guys have, I felt sorry for you and decided to give it out a little bit earlier, but I also did say that the final depth chart is not going to be given out till after Wednesday's practice. So, but that's where we sit today, and it probably just a little bit more of consistent. Brady's just a little more consistent to this point. Not a whole lot of difference between the two guys.
Tyson Morris is listed as a starter too. What of his camp? And
really
what do you
good.
expect?
He's had a really good camp. He had the shoulder, and he's gotten a lot stronger. He's catching contested balls, and I just really, Tyson was non-consistent. You just didn't know what you were going to get each day at practice with him a year ago. He knows that. That's not anything negative at all about him. And then this year he's attacked every day. I've been really proud of him. And we sat down and talked about it. I mean, if he's ever going to get on the field on a consistent basis, you got to be consistent in practice. And he certainly did that. And he's running better routes. He's stronger. Just had a good camp.
Sam, I saw, I guess, a social media video of you maybe a couple weeks ago, you going out and talking to the band when they were practicing.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
And I know your folk, when you're on the sideline, you're focused on the game, but just what's it going to be like to have, the pad, I guess what you call a pregame pageantry, you can run through the A. I mean, how much are you looking forward to running through the A?
Well, Bob, if I can get through that A ahead of everybody, it'll be a win right there. It'll be an early win. We did a little mock going through there, and I thought it was quite a little ways from where I start until where I finish. But it's going to be unbelievable. I mean, it just is. I mean, imagine head coach at Arkansas, you're leading your team out through the A. That's a thrill, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. I need to speed up over what I did Saturday, though, and I'm challenging myself to do that.
I'm sure you tell the other guys not to pass you, right? You're that kind of-
Well, they can pass me, just don't run over me. That would be the goal. Well, I'm going to go probably as close as I can over there to the band and not get hit by one of them trombones coming out at me and run as fast as I can.
Yeah, how's Traylon looking? What do you think about for Traylon's prospects for this game?
Well, I still think that's day by day. He's progressed over the weekend. I think we're going to progress him a little bit today, probably a little bit more tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens. Had a good talk with Dave Polanski this morning about it, and we're going to play him if he's ready, and if he's not, we're not. So, I really don't know whether he's going to play or not. I have no idea. I think it's going to depend on probably the next 2 days, how he goes. And I don't want to play him on Saturday if he hasn't practiced at all either. But we're hoping we can get him back by Wednesday.
We didn't ask you about the mock game. What were the highlights? I mean, did you get through all the scenarios and stuff that you wanted to?
There wasn't much to it. We really didn't. It was all about special teams situations, to be honest with you, and about taking all nerves away from our kids. This is where we go out. This is when we go out. This is where we line up when we go out in pregame. This is our stretch. This is where we go one-on-ones, all those things. And then in the past, we've gone where we went 3 plays and then punted or punt return, and we went against scout team, and we did not do that Saturday. We went a play by the offense and defense and not a full live rep play. And then we took the punt team or the punt return out there. If we kicked off, we kicked it to a returner, but we just took the line. So there was nothing really. We changed it this year, I guess what I'm trying to tell you. We were trying to save the legs that day, and we felt like we've had a good camp and tried to steal another half a day or 3/4 of a day of legs because we knew they were off on Sunday as well.